We often believe that confidence and success are outcomes, things that happen after we've achieved something great. But the truth is, they are habits. They're built brick by brick through small, deliberate actions taken every single day. Today, I want to share with you 10 daily improvements that, if practiced consistently, will multiply your confidence and accelerate your success. Not someday, but starting now. 1. Start with a clear morning ritual. The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Whether it's meditation, a brisk walk, journaling, or reviewing your goals, choose an intentional start. Clarity in the morning creates certainty in your decisions. 2. Speak to yourself with respect. Your internal dialogue shapes your external reality. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning to." Replace "I'm not good enough" with "I'm getting better every day." When you speak to yourself as you would to a trusted friend, you train your mind to believe in your worth. 3. Learn something new daily. Confidence grows when you feel capable. Success grows when you are relevant. Read a few pages of a book, watch an insightful video, listen to a podcast, keep feeding your mind. The more you know, the more value you can give. 4. Take small but visible actions toward your goals. It's not the size of the step, it's the consistency of movement. Post your progress, share your work, have that important conversation. Each small action proves to yourself that you are a person who follows through. 5. Surround yourself with uplifting people. Confidence and success rarely survive in a toxic environment. Spend more time with people who challenge you to grow and believe in your potential. The energy of the people around you becomes the energy you carry. 6. Practice gratitude daily. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every evening. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's possible, from fear to faith. It creates a mindset that's open to opportunities. 7. Keep promises to yourself. When you say you'll wake up early, do it. When you say you'll finish the workout, finish it. Every kept promise strengthens your self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of confidence. 8. Control your inputs. Limit your exposure to negative news, endless scrolling, and empty comparisons. What you consume shapes your mood, your perspective, and ultimately your actions. Choose wisely. 9. Seek feedback without fear. Growth requires honesty. Invite constructive criticism, not as an attack, but as a tool. The faster you can identify blind spots, the faster you can fix them, and the more you'll grow. 10. In the day with reflection before you sleep, ask yourself, what did I do well today? What can I improve tomorrow? This simple practice builds self-awareness, and self-awareness is the compass for both confidence and success. Remember, confidence isn't arrogance. It's trust in your own ability to figure things out. Success isn't a destination. It's the daily act of becoming someone worth following. Small improvements practiced daily don't just add up, they multiply. And when you look back a year from now, you won't just be more confident or more successful. You'll be unrecognizable in the best possible way. 5 keynotes of the speech. Confidence and success are habits, not events. They are built through daily intentional actions. Your environment shapes your growth. Choose uplifting people and positive inputs. Self-talk and self-trust are foundations. Keep promises to yourself and speak with respect to your mind. Consistency beats intensity. Small daily actions create exponential progress. Reflection drives improvement. Daily review keeps you aware, focused, and adaptable. Confidence and success are often seen as final rewards, outcomes that appear only after years of hard work or a significant achievement. We tend to think that one day, after reaching a certain milestone, we will finally feel confident or be successful. But this belief is misleading and often keeps people stuck. Confidence and success are not single events that arrive at the end of a long journey. They are built gradually through consistent, deliberate habits we choose to practice every day. They are the result of repetition, commitment, and small daily wins that accumulate over time until they transform who we are and how we see ourselves. When you view confidence as a habit instead of a gift you were born with, it becomes something you can control and strengthen. Just like learning a language or mastering a skill, confidence comes from repeated exposure to challenges, intentional practice, and an ongoing willingness to improve. Every day offers an opportunity to practice being confident in the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and the decisions you make. The key is not waiting for perfect conditions to feel confident, but to start showing up as the person you want to be, even when you're uncertain or afraid. Confidence grows in the doing, not in the waiting. The same principle applies to success. Many people assume that success is a grand breakthrough moment, like a promotion, a viral idea, or a big financial win. In reality, those moments are simply the visible result of hundreds, sometimes thousands, of smaller actions that came before. Success is less about the big leap and more about the disciplined steps taken over time. It's built in the quiet hours when no one is watching, in the decisions you make when it would be easier to procrastinate, and in the extra effort you give when it's tempting to stop. Each day you choose to invest in your growth, you are building the foundation for success. Whether or not you see the results immediately, the reason habits matter so much is because they operate beneath the surface, shaping your identity. Every time you complete a habit, you cast a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. If you start your morning with purpose, you reinforce the belief that you are a disciplined, intentional person. If you speak up in a meeting, even when you feel nervous, you prove to yourself that you are capable of contributing value. If you follow through on a commitment you made to yourself, you strengthen your trust in your own word. These small acts don't seem dramatic in the moment, But over weeks and months, they shift your self-image and create a strong internal foundation for confidence. Habits also make confidence and success sustainable. Anyone can feel a burst of confidence after a single win or a lucky break, but sustaining it requires a structure. Without habits, confidence fades and success becomes inconsistent. Habits create a system you can rely on even on difficult days. For example, a daily learning routine ensures you keep growing in knowledge, which keeps you relevant and competent. Regular exercise maintains your energy and physical presence, which influences how confident you feel in interactions. Practicing gratitude keeps you optimistic and solution-focused, which is critical for long-term success. It's important to understand that building habits for confidence and success isn't about perfection. Some days you will miss a workout, avoid a challenge, or fall back into negative thinking. The difference between those who grow and those who stagnate is the ability to return to the habit the next day. Confidence is not the absence of mistakes, it's the willingness to keep going after them. Success is not uninterrupted progress, it's consistent progress over time. When you shift your mindset from I will be confident when, or I will be successful after to I am becoming confident and successful by what I do today, you take back control. You stop waiting for external validation and start relying on internal proof. The daily evidence you create through your habits. You realize that every small action is an investment in the person you want to be, and that investment compounds over time just like money in a bank. The beauty of this approach is that it works for anyone, regardless of where they start. You don't need extraordinary talent or a perfect plan. You just need to choose a few small actions and commit to doing them consistently. Over time, those actions will shape your identity, influence your opportunities, and create both the confidence to pursue success and the skills to achieve it. The path is not glamorous, but it is reliable and it's available to you every single day. Your environment is one of the most powerful and often underestimated factors in shaping your growth. The people you spend time with, the conversations you engage in, the energy you absorb, and even the spaces you occupy all influence how you think, feel, and act. While we like to believe that our confidence and success come purely from within, the truth is that our surroundings constantly feed us messages, some that push us forward and others that quietly hold us back. The company you keep and the inputs you allow into your life either reinforce your potential or erode it. Understanding this and consciously choosing the right environment is not optional. If you want to grow, it's essential. People are emotional mirrors. If you spend time around those who believe in your potential, encourage your efforts, and challenge you to rise higher, you start to internalize those beliefs. You carry their faith in you until it becomes your own. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with cynics who dismiss your dreams, constantly complain, or see only limitations, you begin to shrink your vision without even realizing it. It's not always about deliberate negativity. Even subtle doubt from others can make you hesitate, question yourself, or play smaller than you're capable of. That's why it's crucial to filter who gets access to your time and energy. The same principle applies to the energy in your environment. If the people you're around operate from a place of fear, scarcity, or gossip, you'll feel that tension in your own mindset. You may not notice it at first, but over time, it seeps into your language and decisions. Conversely, if you're surrounded by people who are solution-focused, optimistic, and committed to growth, you begin to adopt their problem-solving mindset. You find yourself speaking more about possibilities than limitations, more about action than excuses. You're influenced not because you're weak-minded, but because as humans, we are wired to adapt to the norms of our environment. This is why mentorship, community, and peer groups are so powerful. Being in an environment where achievement, discipline, and learning are valued naturally pulls you upward. When you see others taking bold steps, you feel inspired to take your own. When someone shares their progress or overcomes a challenge, it becomes proof that you can too. The right environment not only supports your growth, it accelerates it by showing you what's possible and normalizing higher standards. It's also important to remember that environment isn't just people, it's the information you consume. What you read, watch, and listen to has just as much influence on your thinking as the company you keep. If you fill your mind with constant negative news, endless comparisons on social media, or shallow entertainment, you're feeding yourself mental junk food. It leaves you mentally sluggish, emotionally reactive, and easily discouraged. But if you intentionally consume uplifting, educational, and inspiring content, you're constantly refueling your mind with ideas, strategies, and stories that keep you moving forward. This isn't about avoiding reality. It's about choosing a version of reality that keeps you in the right mental state to act. Even physical space plays a role. A cluttered, chaotic environment often leads to a cluttered, chaotic mind. When your surroundings are clean, organized, and inspiring, they create a sense of clarity and focus that supports productivity. Your workspace, your home, even the places you spend your leisure time, they all carry energy, and that energy either drains you or replenishes you. This is why some people feel more creative in certain cafes, more focused in a well-lit room, or more motivated when working out in a vibrant gym. Sometimes improving your environment means making hard choices. It might mean spending less time with certain friends or distancing yourself from family members who consistently undermine you. It might mean saying no to invitations that drain you or limiting conversations that revolve around gossip or negativity. These decisions aren't easy, but they are necessary if you want to protect your mental and emotional resources. You can't build unshakable confidence in an environment that constantly shakes you. You can't reach your fullest potential in a space where you're always defending it. At the same time, building a better environment isn't only about removing the wrong influences. It's about intentionally adding the right ones. Seek out people who inspire you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. Join communities where growth is celebrated, where ideas are shared freely, and where success is seen as something achievable for everyone. Create a personal routine that includes positive, educational inputs and spaces that energize you. Treat your environment as the soil in which your confidence and success grow, because even the best seeds will fail if the soil is poor. Your environment is not a background detail in your life. It's the atmosphere that shapes everything you do. When you control it with intention, you set yourself up to think bigger, act bolder, and move faster toward the person you want to become. Every moment you spend in the right environment is like a quiet investment in your future self. And over time, those investments compound into something extraordinary. Learning something new every day is one of the most reliable ways to expand your confidence and ensure your success continues to grow. Knowledge is not just information stored in your mind. It is fuel for your ability to make decisions, solve problems, and engage with the world in a more meaningful way. The more you know, the more capable you feel, and capability naturally breeds confidence. When you commit to daily learning, you are essentially telling yourself, I am a work in progress and I'm becoming better equipped to handle whatever comes my way. That mindset not only makes you more competent, but also keeps you adaptable in an ever-changing world. Learning something new doesn't always mean enrolling in formal education or taking on massive, time-consuming courses. It can be as simple as reading a few pages of a book, watching an insightful documentary, listening to a podcast that challenges your perspective, or engaging in a meaningful conversation that exposes you to different viewpoints. The goal is to keep your mind active, curious, and hungry for growth. Each day becomes an opportunity to sharpen your thinking, broaden your horizons, and build a deeper understanding of the world and yourself. This daily commitment also protects you from stagnation. Many people reach a certain level of skill or knowledge and then stop learning, believing they know enough to succeed. But the world doesn't stand still, and neither should you. Industries evolve, technology changes, and new challenges emerge that require fresh solutions. If you stop learning, your skills slowly become outdated, and your confidence begins to erode because you no longer feel prepared to keep up. On the other hand, when you make learning a habit, you stay ahead of the curve. You remain relevant in your field, ready to adapt and innovate when necessary. Confidence is deeply tied to competence. When you know what you're talking about, when you can handle tasks with skill and offer valuable insights, you naturally carry yourself with greater assurance. You don't have to fake confidence or rely on empty bravado because you have real substance to back it up. Learning gives you that substance. It gives you the ability to speak with authority, contribute meaningfully to conversations, and make decisions with clarity. The more you know, the less you fear uncertainty because you trust yourself to figure things out along the way. Daily learning also sharpens your problem-solving abilities. When you expose yourself to new ideas, concepts, and perspectives, you start seeing connections between seemingly unrelated things. You begin to approach challenges with creativity because you have a larger mental toolbox to draw from. A single book, conversation, or idea can completely change how you approach a situation, giving you solutions you wouldn't have considered otherwise. This ability to think in new ways is not only valuable for personal growth, but is often the key factor that separates good leaders from great ones. Another benefit of daily learning is that it builds humility and curiosity, two qualities that are essential for long-term success. When you learn something new each day, you are constantly reminded of how much there is still to discover. This keeps you open-minded and prevents the arrogance that can come from thinking you already know it all. Instead of closing yourself off, you remain receptive to feedback, new methods, and better ways of doing things. Curiosity fuels motivation because there's always something to explore, and that energy keeps you moving forward. Daily learning also reinforces discipline. It's not always convenient to set aside time for growth, especially when life feels busy. But showing up every day for your mind, even in small ways, trains you to prioritize what truly matters over what is simply urgent. It teaches you to take ownership of your growth instead of waiting for circumstances to force you to improve. This discipline spills into other areas of life, strengthening your ability to follow through on commitments and stay consistent in your pursuits. Importantly, learning every day should be intentional, not random. It's easy to confuse endless scrolling or casual browsing with learning, but genuine growth comes from focused attention. You should be seeking knowledge that either improves your skills, deepens your understanding, or challenges the way you think. This doesn't mean you can't learn about fun or light topics, but it does mean you should be mindful about how much time you devote to things that have little long-term benefit. Even 10 minutes of intentional learning a day can have a massive impact over the course of a year, while hours of unfocused consumption often leave you with little to show for it. The ripple effect of daily learning is powerful. As your knowledge grows, you become a source of value for others. People naturally gravitate toward those who can share insights, offer guidance, or bring fresh perspectives to the table. This builds trust and strengthens relationships, both personally and professionally. In time, Your commitment to growth becomes part of your reputation, and opportunities start finding you because people see you as someone worth listening to. When you make the choice to learn something new every day, you are making an investment in your future self. You are preparing for challenges you haven't yet faced, equipping yourself with tools you don't yet know you'll need, and building a foundation of confidence that can't be shaken easily. The world rewards those who are willing to grow, and daily learning is the simplest, most reliable way to ensure that your confidence and success continue to compound over time. Taking small but visible actions toward your goals every day is one of the most underestimated yet powerful habits you can develop. Many people delay progress because they believe they need to take huge, dramatic steps to make real change. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect level of readiness before they act. The problem with this approach is that the perfect moment rarely comes, and the longer you wait, the more intimidating the goal becomes. In reality, progress is rarely about massive leaps. It's about showing up consistently and making small, deliberate moves that, over time, build unstoppable momentum. Small actions matter because they create proof. Every time you take even the tiniest step forward, you're sending a signal to yourself that you're capable of moving toward your goal. That proof compounds. It changes the way you see yourself, shifting your identity from someone who only dreams about results to someone who actively creates them. Confidence grows when you see evidence of your own commitment, and the easiest way to create that evidence is to act in small, visible ways every single day. Visibility is important because it brings accountability and clarity. When your actions are visible, whether to yourself, your peers, or a community, they create a track record you can measure. If you write one page a day toward your book, post small updates about your fitness journey, share your learning progress, or log your daily habits, you're making your work tangible. This visibility also allows others to witness your growth, which can bring encouragement, support, and even opportunities you wouldn't have found otherwise. People notice consistency, they notice effort, they notice persistence. And those qualities are often more valuable than raw talent. Small actions also lower resistance. One of the biggest reasons people procrastinate is that they view their goal as a giant, overwhelming project. Breaking it into smaller, manageable pieces makes it feel achievable. Instead of thinking, I have to transform my entire business this year, you can focus on making one improvement today. Instead of deciding you need to get in perfect shape immediately, you can commit to a 15-minute workout this afternoon. Over time, these small actions build into substantial results, and because they are manageable, they are far easier to sustain. Taking visible action daily is also a way to stay connected to your goal emotionally. The longer you go without taking action, the more disconnected you feel from the reason you started in the first place. Small actions keep your goal alive in your mind. They remind you why you care and keep the fire from going out. When you act every day, even in a small way, you reinforce the habit of moving toward what matters instead of waiting for inspiration or motivation to strike. Another benefit is that daily small actions allow you to adjust and learn quickly. If you only take big, infrequent actions, you have to wait a long time to see if they're working. But if you act in smaller, consistent ways, you get constant feedback. You can see almost immediately if something is moving you in the right direction or needs to be adjusted. This agility is incredibly valuable because it keeps you from wasting months on strategies that don't work and helps you discover better approaches faster. Small but visible actions also make it easier to push through fear. Large actions often feel risky and overwhelming, which can trigger hesitation. Small actions, on the other hand, feel safer and easier to commit to. If you're nervous about public speaking, you can start by speaking up in a small meeting. If you're unsure about launching a big business idea, you can start by sharing a simple version of it online. Each small action builds your tolerance for discomfort and gradually expands your comfort zone, making larger actions feel more natural over time. Consistency in action is also a powerful signal to others. People are more likely to invest in, support, or collaborate with someone who has demonstrated steady effort over time. A single burst of energy might impress people for a moment, but it's the sustained, visible work that earns trust and credibility. Employers, clients, partners, and even friends are drawn to people who follow through, and small daily actions are the clearest proof that you do. Perhaps most importantly, taking small visible actions daily transforms your relationship with discipline. Instead of viewing action as something tied to big waves of motivation, you start to see it as simply part of who you are. You no longer need to feel inspired to act. You act because it's what you do. This shift is crucial because motivation is fleeting, but discipline, once built, becomes a powerful part of your identity. You start to see yourself as a doer, not just a planner. And when that identity takes hold, the actions that once felt difficult become second nature. Every major success story is built on a foundation of small, consistent actions. It's not the grand, once in a lifetime moments that make the real difference. It's the daily proof you create through visible effort. When you commit to showing up every single day, even in the smallest ways, you create a momentum that's almost impossible to stop. Over time, those small steps don't just take you closer to your goals. They change the kind of person you are, building the confidence and resilience needed to reach them. Confidence and success are deeply influenced by the people you choose to surround yourself with. The company you keep shapes your mindset, your habits, and even your sense of possibility. Human beings are social creatures, and whether we realize it or not, We absorb the attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of those around us. If you spend time with people who challenge you to grow, believe in your potential, and push you toward your goals, you naturally start to think and act in alignment with higher standards. On the other hand, if your circle is filled with negativity, complacency, or discouragement, it becomes harder to maintain the drive and optimism necessary for progress. The environment created by your relationships can either be a powerful force for elevation or a subtle anchor holding you in place. Uplifting people play a crucial role in building your confidence because they reflect back to you the best version of yourself. They see your potential even when you doubt it, and they remind you of your strengths when you lose sight of them. This encouragement doesn't mean they simply praise you without question. Truly uplifting individuals also challenge you when you fall short, but they do so from a place of belief in your ability to do better. They hold you to your commitments, not because they want to control you, but because they want to see you succeed. Their faith in you becomes a source of strength, especially in moments when your own self-belief is shaky. Surrounding yourself with the right people also creates a sense of accountability. When you share your goals and progress with a group that supports you, you feel more responsible for following through. You're less likely to quit when things get hard because you know others are watching and cheering you on. This social accountability can be incredibly motivating, especially during times when self-discipline alone feels difficult to maintain. Simply being in an environment where others are working toward their own ambitions creates a contagious energy that inspires you to match their effort. Another powerful effect of being around uplifting people is the way it expands your perspective. When you connect with individuals who are driven, creative, and forward-thinking, you're constantly exposed to new ideas, different strategies, and alternative viewpoints. They help you see possibilities you might not have considered on your own. These conversations can spark breakthroughs in your thinking, giving you new approaches to challenges or showing you opportunities that were previously invisible. This expansion of perspective not only fuels your success, but also builds confidence in your ability to navigate the unknown. In contrast, spending too much time with people who are overly critical, negative, or stagnant can slowly erode your self-belief. Even if their comments are subtle or disguised as being realistic, constant exposure to doubt and limitation makes you second-guess your abilities. You might start lowering your expectations or avoiding risks simply to avoid their judgment. Over time, this environment can drain your motivation and make you feel stuck, not because you lack potential, but because you've absorbed the limitations of those around you. This is why it's important to evaluate the influence your relationships have on you and make intentional choices about where you invest your energy. It's worth noting that uplifting people aren't necessarily those who agree with you all the time. In fact, some of the most valuable relationships are with people who challenge you to think deeper, question your assumptions, and stretch beyond your comfort zone. What makes them uplifting is the way they challenge you, not to tear you down, but to help you grow. They provide honest feedback without diminishing your value, and they encourage you to take action rather than settle for less than you're capable of achieving. Building a circle of uplifting people often requires effort and intention. You may have to step outside your usual social patterns, join new communities, or seek out mentors and peers who share your values and ambitions. It may also mean spending less time with certain individuals who consistently drain your energy or discourage your efforts. This doesn't always have to be a dramatic separation, but it does mean setting boundaries to protect your focus and well-being. Choosing your circle isn't about being judgmental. It's about being strategic with the influences that shape your life. When you consistently surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, you begin to adopt their habits, attitudes, and standards. You start expecting more from yourself because you're in an environment where excellence is normal and growth is celebrated. This influence extends beyond specific goals. It affects the way you think about challenges, the way you handle setbacks, and the way you see your own potential. It reinforces the belief that success is achievable and that you are capable of becoming the kind of person who earns it. The impact of your social environment is often gradual, which makes it easy to overlook. You might not notice the shift from doubt to belief or from hesitation to action until you look back and realize how much your mindset has evolved. But make no mistake, the people you choose to be around are constantly shaping you in ways both visible and invisible. If you want to build lasting confidence and create meaningful success, choosing to be in the company of uplifting people is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. Confidence and success are not reserved for a select few. They are the result of intentional choices made consistently over time. Every day offers opportunities to shape who you are becoming in the way you think, the actions you take, the people you surround yourself with, and the habits you build. Small improvements may seem insignificant in the moment, but they compound into extraordinary change. When you commit to clear daily rituals, speak to yourself with respect, feed your mind with learning, take visible steps toward your goals, and stay in the company of those who lift you higher, you create a foundation that is unshakable. The journey is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about showing up for yourself every single day. And when you do, you'll find that confidence and success aren't distant destinations. They are the natural byproducts of the person you've been becoming all along.